वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुजुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नम ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनीति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the second canto, there is a very nice and a beautiful verse which comes up. It says, Yad kirtanam yad smaranam yad hikshanam yad vandhanam yad shravanam yad arhanam lokasya sadhyo vidhunoti kalmasham tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. Canto 2, chapter 4, text 15. What does this verse mean? Yad kirtanam. So yat in Sanskrit means whose. So yat kirtanam. So by doing whose kirtan, by doing whose glorification, yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, by remembering who, yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yat ikshanam means by looking at whom, yat vandanam, by offering our dandavats to whom, yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yat ikshanam, yat vandanam, yat shravanam, by hearing about whom, yad arhanam, by offering devotional service unto whom. What does this verse further say? Yad kirtanam, yad smaranam, yad ikshanam, yad vandanam, yad shravanam, yad arhanam, lokasya sadhyo vidhunoti kalmasham. And all the sins that people have accumulated, the loka, all the sins that are accumulated in the heart of the general populace, all of them gets destroyed. Vidhunoti kalmasham, all the sins get destroyed. Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. To that supreme Lord, Subhadra. Subhadra means someone who is pure, very auspicious. So Krishna is called as Subhadra because Krishna is all auspicious. Krishna is all pure. Tasmai Subhadra shravase namo namaha. To that supreme Lord, by chanting whose names, by remembering whom, by offering dandavats, by hearing about whom, all the sins that are accumulated in the heart get destroyed completely. To that Sri Krishna, I offer my choicest and my humble obeisances. So this is a very good start to our discussion, because Srimad Bhagavatam can be considered as hearing about Krishna, can be considered as glorifying Krishna, can be considered as contemplating or remembering about Krishna. So all the facets of bhakti are included in speaking about Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Katha. So today we will be speaking about a particular pastime that Krishna performed in Vrindavan from the 10th canto. So this will be a very good Braj Leela meditation. We all have heard about this pastime, but we will be discussing about a few life lessons and a few commentaries from our predecessor acharyas, which are very relishing and very noteworthy to know. So this is the famous pastime of Aghasur coming to Vrindavan. So Aghasur, when he came to Vrindavan, we all know that Krishna delivered Aghasur by killing Aghasur. But just to rewind a bit, Sri Krishna, one day, he decided to take his cows, to take his calves and go to the forest. And when he was proceeding to the forest with his cows and calves, Krishna called out to all his friends. And all his friends unanimously, they came out. And they came out with their cows and calves. So Krishna had his cows and calves, and now Krishna was accompanied by his friends who were accompanied by their cows and calves. So it was a very big group who were proceeding to the forest of Braja. So they were all going to the forest, and when they were going to the forest, and when they reached the forest, the different friends of Krishna were imitating the different animals that they were seeing in the forest. There is this famous photo of ISKCON where we see Krishna is standing, or Krishna is sitting like that of a peacock. And while there are a few friends who are making the sounds of monkeys, there's a famous photo by Jadurani Mataji, painted by Jadurani Mataji. So this occurred when Krishna was going to the forest. They saw the peacocks, and Krishna would stand like the peacock, and the peacock looking at Krishna would feel very shy because Krishna was better than the peacock in its own domain. Similarly, the monkeys would look at Krishna's friends, and the Krishna's friends would loudly call out like the monkeys, and they would jump from one tree to another. The cuckoos would be singing, and Krishna's friends would imitate the cuckoos. Coo, coo. So Krishna's friends would imitate all the different animals of Vrindavan Dham. And in this way, they had a very good time. So during that time, this ferocious man-eating demon, Aghasur, made his way to Vrindavan. And we all know that Krishna, like the other demons, Krishna also killed and he liberated Aghasur. So after this pastime was done, Brahmaji was completely bewildered. He was scratching his head and he was thinking to himself, I am the Vidhata, I am the creator of this whole universe, and there are innumerable people who are doing good and who are doing bad. And based on what they're doing, a suitable life is designed for them. But here is Krishna, who is delivering someone who is as abominable as Aghasur. Aghasur had no good qualities. He was a demon. He was an asura. But still Krishna was ready to deliver him. So Brahma was completely bewildered. How is it that someone who is coming to kill Krishna, Krishna is ready to liberate him? Now, it's so fascinating to see that this pastime has the involvement of Krishna's friends. And Krishna's friends are not ordinary. They are not like the children of this world. They are not mere mortals. In the start of this pastime of Aghasur, Shukadev Goswami quotes a very brilliant words. He says, Itam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena Maya Shritanam Naradarakehe Sakham Vijaru Krita Punya Punja. Shukadev Goswami says, who are these friends of Krishna? These friends of Krishna are not ordinary. Why? Because Sakham Vijaru Krita Punya Punja. These friends of Krishna have done pious activities for millions of lifetimes. Only after they have amassed so much pious credit are they given a chance to stand on the same plane as that of Krishna. And what to speak of standing on the same plane, they're witnessing the pastimes of Krishna. They're looking at Krishna day in and day out for years together. So Shukadev Goswami at the start of this chapter makes it very clear that if someone thinks that how is it that these children got this opportunity, Shukadev Goswami says, Sakham Vijaru Kruta Punya Punja. They have amassed pious credits for many lifetimes. And that is why they have got this saubhagya. That is why they have got this good fortune to be with Krishna. So when Aghasur came and when Brahma was bewildered, he was thinking, how is it that Krishna delivered someone as abominable as Aghasur? The same point is made even in the 7th canto. When the Rajasuya Yagna was going on and all the great personalities were present, Krishna was there, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Narad Muni, everyone were present, and amidst that assembly, Shishupal was also present. And Shishupal is a very unique personality because it is said Shishupal learned to say mummy daddy later, but first he learned to criticize Krishna. Right from his birth, right from day one, he would vomit swear words at Krishna. He never liked Krishna. He always thought of Krishna as his competitor, and he always envied Krishna. He was always jealous of Krishna. So as we know, as the pastime unfolds, Krishna with the Sudarshan Chakra killed Shishupal, and the soul of Shishupal merged into the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. So even in that assembly, Yudhishthir Maharaj has this question. He tells Narad Muni that, my dear Narad Muni, how is it that someone as abominable as Shishupal gets the supreme destination? How is it that he got Parampadam, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How is this possible? And to that, Narad Muni gives a very brilliant answer. He gives a befitting reply. He says, whether it is through enviousness, whether it is through jealousy, whether it is through love, however we think of Krishna, Krishna's thoughts are so purifying that whoever thinks about him, they get purified. Kamat, snehat, bhayat, krodhat, yatha bhakti shware manaha. Whether it is kamat, whether it is like the Braja Gopis, or whether it is snehat, like Mother Yashoda, loving parental affection. Kamat, snehat, bhayat, whether it is fear, like Kamsa Maharaj, or krodhat, whether it is anger, like Shishupal. Yata bhakti shware manaha. All of them get delivered. But having said that, Kamsa and Shishupal are not our role models. We are not supposed to be envious or jealous of Krishna, but our actual, real role models are Mother Yashoda and the Braja Gopis. So there Narad Muni quotes his words that however we remember Krishna, because Krishna is so pure, his remembrance invokes the purity in our life, and thus whoever remembers him becomes pure. So Krishna liberates someone by killing. We cannot do good to someone who is alive. We cannot liberate or do good to someone who is there amongst us. But Krishna is so great. Even when he kills, he does good to the living entity. And that is why Srila Rupa Goswami gives one name of Krishna as Hata Ari Gati Dayaka. I repeat, Rupa Goswami says one of the names of Krishna is Hata Ari Gata Dayaka. What does that mean? Hata means to kill. Ari means a demon. Now sometimes we have seen devotees, instead of chanting Hare Krishna, they say Are Krishna, Are Krishna. In Sanskrit, Ari means a demon. So when we say Are Krishna, it means, oh demon Krishna. oh demon Krishna, oh demon Ram, oh demon Ram. So the pronunciation in Sanskrit has to be pretty accurate. Instead of Hare, if you say Are, the whole meaning changes. Hare means energy, while Are without an H means demon. So it means, oh demon Krishna. So Rupa Goswami says one of the names of Krishna is Hata Ari Gati Dayaka. Hata means to kill, Ari means a demon, and Gati Dayaka means supreme abode, Golok Vrindavan. So Krishna is such a personality who grants the supreme abode, who grants the supreme destination, even by his killing. Even when Krishna kills, that person attains the supreme abode. In this world also we have this example of a surgeon and a serial killer. Both of them use a knife, whether it's the surgeon or it's the serial killer. Both of them use a knife, but the surgeon's knife is used to save a life, while the murderer's life is to take life away. So factually, both of them have a knife. Similarly, externally, it seems that Krishna is killing, but just like a surgeon, even after using the knife, does good to that person, similarly, Shri Krishna, even after killing, does good to that living entity. That is why we see one of the names of Shri Krishna is also called as Hari. What does Hari mean? So there are two meanings of Hari. Sarva Amangala Hare, Prem Diye Hare Man. So the first meaning of Hari is Sarva Amangala Hare. All the inauspiciousness that is there in the life of the devotee, Krishna takes it away. Krishna snatches away all the inauspiciousness that is there. Sarva Amangala Hare. And what is the second meaning? Prem Diye Hare Man. So he gives love of Godhead and thus snatches the heart of the devotee. So the first is Krishna being Hari takes away all the inauspiciousness. And second, he gives love of God and then snatches the heart of the living entity. Sarva Amangala Hare, Prem Diye Hare Man. So when this demon Aghasur came to Vrindavan, it's so interesting to see the name Aghasur. What does Aghasur mean? Agha translates to sin. Just imagine how hilarious it is. His parents named him Aghasur. Oh, that personality who's filled with sins. You see, even in Mahabharata, we have the personality Duryodhan. So his actual name was Suyodhan. But later, because of his activities, later because of his characteristics, he was addressed as Duryodhan. Similarly, we have Putana. Who is Putana? Puta in Sanskrit means pure and na means no. Putana is that some personality who has no purity. She absolutely has no purity. Putana. Duryodhan, Suyodhan. Similarly, Aghasur. Agha means sins. That person who is infested, filled with sins is Aghasur. So when Aghasur came to Vrindavan, the Brajavasis did not know that his name is Aghasur. Because after the pastime unfolded, we know Aghasur as Aghasur. But when Aghasur came to Braj for the first time, the Brajavasis did not know that his name is Aghasur. They would address him as Mahavyal. So even in Gopi Geet, we find in the third verse, when the gopis chant, they say, Visha Jalapyayat Vyalarakshasat Varashamaruthat Vaidhyutanalat. The gopis, they exclaim, they are besieging Krishna. They tell Krishna, Vishajalapyayat, oh Krishna, you protected us from the poisonous water. How did the water become poisonous? Because of the serpent Kaliya. So the gopis tell Krishna, my dear Krishna, you protected us from the poisonous water of the Jamuna because of the serpent Kaliya. Visha Jalapaya Vyala Rakshasa. We see the word is used, Vyala. My dear Krishna, you protected us from the terrible man-eating demon, Vyala. Because Aghasur was a python. He was a snake. And he was a gigantic snake. He was not a small snake, but he was huge. That is why gopis say he was a man-eating terrible demon. Visha Jalapayad Vyala Rakshasad Varashamarutad Vaidyutanalad. And Krishna, you also protected us from the torrential rains. When Indra was showering rains upon Brajmandal, you, as a 7-year-old child, for 7 days on your pinky finger, lifted Giriraj Govardhan and you protected us. So in this words of Gopi Geet, we see that the Braja Gopis address Aghasur as Vyala, Mahavyal, the terrible man-eating demon. So Aghasur was not very fond of Krishna. Why? Not just Krishna. It is said he was not fond of even Krishna's friends. The reason being, Krishna had killed his siblings. So Aghasur's siblings were Putana and Bakasur. So Putana, Bakasur and Aghasur were siblings. One sister, two brothers. So that is why in Hindi also they say, Teen Tigda Kam Bigda. When these three people come together, all the good activities that are there, everything gets destroyed. So Aghasur was very angry. He was very envious and very jealous of Krishna because Krishna had killed his siblings. So he wanted to take revenge from Sri Krishna. So that is the main reason why he came to Brajmandal. We see the same point even in the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. When Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, Hiranyaksha was very powerful. It is said, if we go through the 8th canto, when Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, Shukadev Goswami says, and even Prabhupada translates it as, when Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, he killed Hiranyaksha with great difficulty. Why? Because Hiranyaksha was so powerful. And even after killing Hiranyaksha, Varahadev did not consider himself victorious. He thought, actually Hiranyaksha is victorious, but I just got lucky enough to kill Hiranyaksha. So this is the Supreme Lord's humility. But Shukadev Goswami makes this point, and Srila Prabhupada highlights this point in the 8th canto by mentioning, by explaining the power of Hiranyaksha. So when Varahadev destroyed and when Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha, his brother Hiranyakashipu, he could not stand it. He was very angry at Supreme Lord. He was very angry at Vishnu. And he left all the activities and he ran towards Vaikunta. Where is Vishnu? Where is the killer of my brother? I am going to take the life air out of Vishnu today. And it is said he was searching Vishnu with all his energy. Vaikunta, he searched in Vaikunta. He searched in the 7 planets below. He searched in the oceans. He searched in the caves. He searched everywhere possible. But still he did not find Vishnu. The reason being, Vishnu thought to himself, Hiranyakashipu is so demoniac that he will search for me externally. He thinks that God is present externally. So what Vishnu did was, in order to trick Hiranyakashipu, Vishnu jumped into the heart of Hiranyakashipu. And while Hiranyakashipu was searching everywhere outside, Mahavishnu was sitting inside his heart and was seeing everything. And Hiranyakashipu searched all day long, for days together, but still he did not find Vishnu. So the same point is seen here even in the Aghasur pastime. Just like Hiranyakashipu wanted to take revenge from Vishnu for the death of his brother, similarly, Aghasur came to Vrindavan in order to take revenge for the death of his brother. It is so fascinating to see that when these demons come to Braj, the hearts of these demons don't really melt. When Aghasur came, he saw Krishna, but his heart didn't melt. It is said in Jagannath Puri, Jagannath is called as Animesha, because Nimesha means eyelids. Jagannath has no eyelids, so he's called as Animesha. And Jagannath is so magnanimous that he gives darshan to everyone 24 hours. Because his eyes are always open, Jagannath doesn't sleep. And because he doesn't sleep, he gives darshan 24 hours a day. So now you may have a question. Prabhu, how is it that he gives darshan 24 hours? Because we know that the temple closes at night. Definitely, the temple closes at night. But it is said, our scriptures say that throughout the day, the human beings come to take darshan. And at night, when the doors are closed, the demigods come to take darshan of Jagannath. Because Jagannath is so attractive, even the demigods cannot resist themselves. They stand in a line to take darshan of the Supreme Lord, that is Jagannath. The Supreme Lord is so beautiful. But Aghasur, even after coming to Braj, even after looking at the all beautiful, most beautiful Supreme Lord, his heart did not melt. So Aghasur decided that it's time for me to swallow these kids. It's time for me to swallow Sri Krishna. It's time for me to kill Sri Krishna and avenge my death. But there is a very important life lesson that comes up here. What is it? The life lesson that we can understand here is, how did Aghasur develop these demoniac qualities? It is only because of his association with Kamsa. Kamsa was a demon, and because Aghasur, because Putana, because Shakatasur, because Dhenukasur, because Keshi, because Arishtasur, all of them associated with a demon by the name Kamsa, they all became demoniac. So this is a very important life lesson. We become what we are based on our association. Just like it is said, when we associate with a drunkard, it's just a matter of time that we are going to become a drunkard. Similarly, when we associate with the sadhus of this world, who have all the good qualities, it's only a matter of time. Sadhu sanga sarva shastra kaye, lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoye. It's a fraction of a second. When we associate with devotees, we get all the good qualities. In one of the memories, one devotee mentioned this point. They said he was a disciple of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And he said that when we read the whole of Bhagavatam, it can take many years, perhaps even lifetimes, based on our speed and based on our retention. So this disciple of Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, it takes so many years to go through the Bhagavatam and understand the import of Bhagavatam. But my Gurudev was so exalted that just by associating with him for about 10 minutes, I could grasp, I could understand the whole import of the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Sadhu Sangha. Just by associating with the Sadhu, we understand the whole import of the Shastra. We get all the good qualities. We see the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was born in the dynasty of Hiranyakashipu, who was a demon. But how did he get the good qualities? Well, because he associated with Narada Muni. So because he associated with Narada Muni, he got all the good qualities. Similarly, we have the example of Mrigari, who was again a hunter. How did he get the good qualities? Because of his association with Narada Muni. So time and again it is seen that whatever past we have, all the past can be changed just by our association with a pure devotee. Lava matra sadhu sanga sarva siddhi hoy. But Aghasur, his association was not with a devotee, but his association was with a demon, was with Kamsa, and that is how he got all the bad qualities. So when Aghasur decided that now it's time to swallow Krishna, it's time to swallow the children and avenge my death, he opened his mouth. And because he was a gigantic snake, he opened his mouth to such an extent that when the children came, they were completely flummoxed, they were taken aback, and they were speaking to each other. And one of the kids exclaimed that we have never come to this part of Giriraj. And the other kid said, yes, we have not come, and look at this cave. This cave is so huge. It's a good place for us to play. It's a good place to play, for us to play hide and seek. The children were exclaiming amongst themselves. Krishna was present, and Krishna knew that he is Aghasur, but Krishna did not say anything. So when the children were discussing, it is said, one of the children said, looking at the tongue of Aghasur, it was a huge tongue. So one of the children said to his another friend, doesn't this resemble a muddy road? And the other friend said, yes, Satyam, Satyam, it does. Because for those who have gone to the interior rural parts of India will know that during rains, when it rains heavily, the roads which are muddy, they become red in color. So the kids, the children were Brajavasis, they were from the village. So when they saw the huge tongue of Aghasur, they said, oh, this resembles like a muddy road, red muddy road. And another friend exclaimed, looking at the teeth of Aghasur, he said, oh, this looks like a marble mountain. This looks like a huge marble slab or a huge marble mountain or a huge marble building. And another friend said, yes, Satyam, Satyam, this is true. And similarly, they were giving different analogies. They were so sincere. Even looking at a demon, they were correlating to the facts of this world. This is the nature of Brajavasis. This is the second lesson that we can learn. This is the heart of a Brajavasi. A Brajavasi is someone, even if he sees a demon, even if he comes in contact face to face with a demon, his heart is so pure that he does not see his demoniac qualities. The children could not see the demoniac qualities of Aghasur. He was a man-eating python. Still, the children were so pure. As we discussed, Sakham Vijaru Krita Punya Punja, they had so much pious activities that even after looking at a demon, they could not understand, or their heart did not tell them that he is a demon. This is a Brajavasi quality. Even when a demon comes, we are so pure. The Brajavasi is so pure that he sees only the good qualities. So in this way, the children were giving different examples. Some said that it's like a muddy road, while some said it's like a marble slab, marble building. And they were giving different exclamations. And the children now decided that it's time to go into this cave, which was the mouth of Aghasur. And this is exactly what Aghasur wanted. He was waiting for this moment when the children can come. And now, when Krishna was with his cow, when Krishna was with his calf, this famous photo we find where Krishna is standing at a distance with his cow and calf, and all the children are running inside the cave, the mouth of Aghasur. So when they were about to go inside, one of the children asked, oh, what if it's a snake? Some children had a doubt, but still they were not convinced. So they said, what if it's a snake? What if it's a demon? So the other friend, they exclaimed, oh, even if it's a demon, what is there to fear? We have the killer of Baki with us. So Bakasur is addressed as Baki in Braj Leela. And Krishna killed Bakasur. So the friends were so convinced, they thought to themselves, even if he's a demon, what is there to fear? The killer of Baki is there with us. He will protect us. This is the third lesson that we can learn, which we can learn. Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Even Bhaktivinoda Thakur, very beautifully, he makes this point. He says, Dainya Atma Nivedana Goptritve Varana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. What is the quality of a devotee? Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. They carry this faith. They have this tremendous faith in their heart that Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. Even if a demon is there in front of me, what is there to fear? The killer of Baki is right in front of us. If something happens, Krishna will come and he will protect us. This is faith. Similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he describes what faith is. He says, Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudhrida Nischay Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. He says, what is Shraddha? What is faith? Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kahe Sudhrida Nischay. The word Shraddha means having tremendous faith, firm determination that Krishna will maintain me, Krishna will protect me, irrespective of whatever the situation is. If I have Krishna by my side, why fear? So why fear when Krishna is near? When Krishna is there with us, there is no question of fearing anything. And this is exactly the mood that the children carried. They were going inside the mouth, but when they were going inside, they had this faith that even if something happens, the killer of Baki is right here. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. The fourth lesson which we can learn is, Shukadev Goswami makes a point. He says, when the children were going inside the mouth, they looked at Krishna. They looked at the beautiful face of Krishna. Now, what is the lesson that we can learn out of this? My holy spiritual master, when he was describing this, he made a very beautiful point, which I thought can resonate with most devotees all over the world. Srila Guru Maharaj said, he said, every sense has a particular purpose. In the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami quotes this verse. He says, Vani kathanu shavanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanastava padayorna smritya shirastava nivasa jagat praname drishti satam darshane stu bhavat tanunam. He says, Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam. What is the purpose of the Vani? What is the purpose of the tongue? Vani gunanu kathane. The tongue is meant so that we glorify the Lord. Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam. And why are the ears given? Oh, the ears are given to hear about Krishna. Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanastava padayorna. Why are the hands given? Well, the hands are given to serve the Lord. Why is the mind given? The mind is given so that we absorb in the beautiful pastimes of the Lord. We absorb our mind, not just the mind, but even our heart in the beautiful pastimes of Sri Krishna. Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanas tava padayorna smritya shiras tava nivasa jagat praname. And why is the head given? The head is given so that we offer our dandavats to Sri Krishna. We offer our obeisances to Sri Krishna. Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam hastau cha karma sumanas tava padayorna smritya shiras tava nivasa jagat praname drishti satam darshane estu bhavat tanunam. And why is the drishti? Why is the eyesight given? Oh, Shukadev Goswami says the eyesight is given to look at Sri Krishna. The eyes are not given to look at things of this world. The eyes are not given to look at graffiti and so many other posters and banners of this world. The eyes are given only for one purpose, that is to look at the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. So Srila Guru Maharaj was saying that the eyes are meant to look at Sri Krishna. And when the children were going into the mouth, the lesson that we can learn is, every day when we step out of the house, it's like we entering into the mouth of Aghasur. Why? Because just like Aghasur is toxic, similarly the world around is toxic. The world around is poisonous. Whether it's our corporate life, our boss, or whether it's our peers, or whether it is our whoever it may be, we always find in every walk of life, there are toxic people around. So Srila Guru Maharaj said, just like the children entered into the mouth of Aghasur, which was toxic, similarly, we are entering into the mouth of Aghasur, which is the toxic world, when we step outside of the house. So what is the lesson that we can learn? When the children were about to enter inside, they looked at the beautiful form of Sri Krishna. Similarly, Srila Guru Maharaj said, when we leave the house, we have to follow in the footsteps of the friends of Krishna by glancing at our deities, by glancing at Nila Madhav, by glancing at any beautiful form and besieging the Lord, just like the children did. Beseeching the Lord that, my dear Lord, I am going outside, which is a toxic environment. It is like the mouth of Aghasur. I don't know what's going to happen, but my dear Lord, just like you protected your friends from the terrible man-eating demon Aghasur, similarly, it is my humble request, Sri Krishna, that I don't know what's going to happen, but if you can protect me, if you can give me protection, then that is the success of my life. So this is a lesson that we can learn. Every time we step outside, we have to glance at our deities and pray to them that, my dear Lord, please grant me protection like the protection that you granted to your friends. So when the friends went inside, the mouth of Aghasur was stinking. It was dirty. There was foul smell coming from the mouth of Aghasur. And the comparison is given, it's almost like in a forest, when there is a forest fire, and if all the animals are burnt to death, there will be a very foul smell that comes. So Shukadev Goswami gives this analogy, just like that foul smell in a burning forest, similarly the mouth of Aghasur had a very bad and a very foul smell. So the friends of Krishna went inside, and the moment they went inside, because of the foul smell, they were completely unconscious, so to say. They became unconscious, and within a fraction of a second, all the friends of Krishna, they died. And Krishna, being Paramatma, Krishna knew this. So when the friends went inside, Aghasur was so smart. Shukadev Goswami said, when the friends went inside, Aghasur did not close his mouth. Why? Because he was waiting for Sri Krishna to enter the mouth. He was waiting, when Sri Krishna enters, then I will close my mouth. And not just that, he was such a smart demon. We see the snakes of this world, they have a tendency to hiss. Every snake of this world hisses. But it is said Aghasur was so smart that he did not hiss. He was just like a stone. He was standstill and he was not hissing, because he knew that if he hisses, the children would get to know that he's a demon, he's a snake, and they would not enter his mouth. So just so that the children enter into his mouth, and just so that Krishna enters into his mouth, Aghasur was like a stone, was like a rock, and was not even hissing. So the children went inside and they died. And that is the time when Krishna decided to enter into the mouth of Aghasur. Krishna, as we know, entered into the mouth of Aghasur, and as the pastime unfolds, when Krishna went inside, Aghasur immediately closed his mouth. But little did he know that the Supreme Lord, the Lord of all Lords, Shad Aishwarya Purna Krishna, who was filled with complete strength, who has 64 beautiful qualities, is there in his throat. Aghasur closed his mouth, But Krishna, being Bhagavan, Krishna choked him to death. Krishna was choking him to such an extent that Aghasur was not able to breathe. He wanted to vomit Krishna and his friends outside, but Krishna was choking him to death. He was falling short of oxygen. He was falling short of breath. And thus he opened his mouth because he was gasping. And he was opening his mouth, but Krishna was so powerful that he choked him to death. That same Krishna who fears the whipping stick of Mother Yashoda, who is running in Vrindavan fearing the stick of Mother Yashoda, here in the mouth of Aghasur, Krishna chokes him to death. And when Krishna chokes him to death, and when Aghasur is dead, Krishna, he glances at all his friends. And just by Krishna's glancing, all of the children, they come back to life. Now, very interesting to note, there is a commentator by the name Hari Suri. Now, Hari Suri gives a very interesting analogy to this. In Hindi or in Sanskrit, a snake is called as an ajgar. Now, many of you all may have heard this. In Sanskrit or in Hindi, a snake is called as ajgar. Why is it called an ajgar? Because gara means a throat and aja means a goat. So a python or a snake is that creature, it's that animal which can gulp even a goat down its throat, which can even eat a goat in one sitting down its throat, is called as an ajgar. So gara means throat and aja means a goat. But Hari Suri, in his wordplay, he does a word player, and he says Aghasur actually is the real ajgar. Why? Because gara means throat and aja, so ja means janma, and aja, someone who has no janma. Who is that personality who has no janma? It is Krishna. Krishna is called as aja. And in this pastime of Aghasur, in Aghasur's gara, in Aghasur's throat, he had aja, he had Krishna. So Hari Suri says Aghasur is the real ajgar because in his throat he had Krishna who has no birth. So Hari Suri makes this very brilliant analogy. He makes a word play. He just plays around with the word ajgar. So back to our story. When the children were dead, Krishna glanced at them and all the children came back to life. Now this is as far as the pastime is concerned. And after the children came back to life, all of them casually came out as if nothing had happened, because they were so accustomed, they were so used to Krishna saving them that even after they being dead inside the mouth of Aghasur, when they were brought back to life, they were normal. And the friends of Krishna would never consider Krishna as Bhagavan. Even after Krishna displayed so many abilities of Krishna killing demons, Krishna dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, Krishna swallowing forest fire, Krishna lifting Giriraj. Still, the Sakhas, the friends of Krishna, are convinced that Krishna is not God. What do they say? They say, Tumi kon bada log, tumi ami sham. Krishna, you are not great. Tumi kon bada log, you are not someone great. Tumi ami sham. Krishna, we are equals. You and I are equals. You are not someone great. Well, not just equals. They even go on to say, Krishna, we are not equals, but Krishna, we are actually better than you. Because in a game of wrestling, we defeat you. We sit on your chest and we punch you. So if you are powerful, you should be sitting on our chest. But that's not how it works. We sit on your chest and we punch you. So Krishna, Tumi kon bada log, Tumi ami sham. Krishna, we are equals. You are not someone great. So even after Krishna killed Aghasur, the children were convinced that Krishna is just a friend. Krishna is not God. So this was the pastime, an overview of the pastime. Shukadev Goswami gives 44 verses. He sings 44 beautiful verses describing the whole pastime of Aghasur. But in the time that we had, I just gave an overview of the whole pastime and the lessons that we can learn from this pastime. But to wrap up our discussion, the whole pastime of Aghasur can be equated, or we can draw parallels to the life of Srila Prabhupada. How is it that so? That is because when the children went into the mouth of Aghasur, the whole environment was very toxic. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada coming to America was like entering into the mouth of Aghasur. Aghasur was toxic. Similarly, New York City was toxic. Well, it is still toxic. So Srila Prabhupada coming to America is like entering into the mouth of Aghasur. And then what did we see? The children, as we discussed, the children made a point that the teeth resembled the marble buildings or marble slabs. And similarly, when Prabhupada came to America, the marble slabs were represented by the huge skyscrapers in New York City. The Brajavasi children had never seen something like this before. And similarly, Prabhupada coming from Calcutta had never seen skyscrapers before. In the pastime of Aghasur, the children made different analogies as we discussed. Some said that the tongue is like the muddy road, while some said their teeth is like marble slabs. And after Aghasur was killed, Shukadev Goswami makes this point that after Aghasur was killed, all the things that the children explained, or all the analogies that the children gave in the form of the muddy road or the marble slabs or the marble buildings, all of them came true. There was actually a muddy road in that place. So whatever they desired, Krishna granted that to them. Similarly, in Prabhupada's pastime, also to rewind a bit, when the children were dead, Krishna, how did he revive them? Krishna glanced at them. Similarly, when Srila Prabhupada came to America, there were the hippies who were just lying on the streets. They may not have been dead, but they were under intoxicants. They were gambling. They had illicit relations and so many other things. So even though externally they were not dead, but they were actually dead because they had no spiritual idea. They had no spiritual knowledge. But just like Krishna glanced at his friend and Krishna revived all of them, similarly, Prabhupada glanced at the hippies and made them happies. The hippies turned happies. How? Darshane pavitra karo ei tumhara gun. Just by Prabhupada glancing at them, Prabhupada made their fortune. And also we discussed that all the analogies that the children made, all of them came true. Similarly, after Prabhupada's preaching had started, Prabhupada once made this point that New York City was hellish before, but now because of my sincere disciples, New York City has become Vaikunta. Prabhupada said this place has become Vaikunta. So just like there were no roads in Vrindavan, there was no muddy road, but eventually after the pastime unfolded, there was the muddy road. Similarly, Vaikunta was not there in New York City, but because of Prabhupada's glance, Prabhupada invoked the Vaikunta from the spiritual world and called New York City as Vaikunta. So in this way, a lot of parallels can be drawn from the pastime of Aghasur and from the life of Srila Prabhupada. And to wrap it up, Sri Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto, he says, Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama bhikamam anuya prapatan prasangat kritvakmasat surasina bhagavan grihita soham katham nu visruje tava bhritya sevam. What does Prahlad Maharaj say? Prahlad Maharaj says, Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe. Janam means the general populace. Prahlad Maharaj says, Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe. Just like the general populace, I was also in the dark well. I had fallen into the dark well. Prabhavai Kupe, it's not just a dark well, but it's a dark well filled with snakes. What do the snakes represent? Well, the snakes represent the various desires. Kama, Krodha, Loha, Mad, Matsarya, so many desires that are there in the heart. They are equated like the snakes in a dark well. So Prahlad Maharaj says, Evam Janam Nipatitam Prabhavahi Kupe. I had fallen into that dark well. Kama bi kamham anuhya prapatan prasangad, and desire after desire, anuhya prapatan prasangad. I was following the people of this world who had so many material desires in their heart. It's like one blind man leading another blind man. So people of this world have so many material desires, not knowing why the human life is given. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj says, I was just fallen in a dark well, having so many desires in my heart, and I was following the general populace. But then he gives the icing. He says, Kritvakmasat surasina bhagavan grihita. He says, Kritvakmasat surasina. So sura means godly, and asura means someone who's not godly. Kritvakmasat surasina bhagavan grihita. And then by the mercy of my superiors, by the mercy of Sri Krishna, a very godly, a very saintly, a sadhu personality walked into my life. Who is that? Narad Muni. As we know, Narad Muni is the spiritual master of Prahlad Maharaj. He says, Kritvak Masad Surasina Bhagavan Grihita. He walked into my life and taught me Bhagavan Grihita. He taught me all the devotional qualities. He taught me devotional services. He taught me how to engage the body, mind, and soul in the service of Sri Krishna. Kritvak Masad Surasina Bhagavan Grihita. Soham Katham nu Visruje Tava Bhritya Sevam. And Prahlad Maharaj says, to that spiritual master Narad Muni, who has saved me from the pangs of material desires, who has saved me from this dark well of material desires, to that Sri Narad Muni, I have a very humble request. He says, Soham Katham nu Visruje Tava Bhritya Sevam. How can I leave the service of my spiritual master who has taught me to do devotional service? How can I leave the service of my devotional how can I leave my spiritual master who has taught me how to engage in the worship of Sri Krishna? So in this way, Prahlad Maharaj gives his dedication, he gives his praise to his spiritual master who uplifted him from the desires of the material world. Similarly, Srila Prabhupada, we did not see Narad Muni, but in our life, Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev walked, and they lifted us from the well of material desires. So to that spiritual master who has taught us devotional service, how can we ever leave his service? So having said that, we will kindly stop here. But before I stop, I would like to just summarize the points that we discussed. We started off by quoting a verse from the Bhagavatam 2.4.15, where we discussed the quality or the function of every limb of our body. Yat kirtanam, yat smaranam, yat hikshanam, yat vandanam, yat shravanam, yat arhanam, lokasya sadhyo vidunoti kalmasham, tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha. We discussed that, and then we discussed how Krishna does good even by his killing, and how Rupa Goswami calls Krishna as Hata Ari Gati Dayaka, which means he gives the highest position, he grants the highest position, his supreme abode, even by his killing. Then we discussed the pastime of Shishupal and how the same parallels can be drawn even in the life of Aghasur. And when Aghasur came to Braj, the Brajavasis did not know that his name is Aghasur. They would call him as Mahavyal. And to substantiate that, we quoted the verse from the Gopi Geet. Then we also made the point as to how he was envious how Aghasur was envious of Krishna and his friends. And the reason for that is because Krishna killed his remaining two siblings. So Aghasur, Bakasur, and Putana were two brothers and one sister. And then finally, we discussed the mouth of Aghasur. We learned a few lessons. We learned that how from association, Prahlad Maharaj, even though born in a demoniac family, had good qualities, while Aghasur, because he associated with Kamsa Maharaj, he had bad qualities. So the first lesson we learned was association. Then we learned about how the children have firm faith in Krishna, avashya rakshi by Krishna. Then we discussed another important point as to when we leave the house, we should always look at the beautiful form of Krishna. And we quoted the verse, Vani gunanu kathane shravanau kathayam hastau chakarma sumanastava pada yorna smritya shirastava nivasa jagat praname drishti satam darshane subhavattanunam. We quoted this verse from the 10th canto. And finally, we drew parallels from the pastime of Aghasur and from the life of Srila Prabhupada. And we mentioned as to how Srila Prabhupada coming to America was like entering into the mouth of Aghasur. And then finally, we quoted the verse of Prahlad Maharaj, where Prahlad Maharaj gives his respects. He glorifies his spiritual master and gives this strong promise that that spiritual master who has taught me devotional service, how can I ever leave his lotus feet? So in this way, we can understand that Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev, who have taught us the science of devotional service, we should never leave their lotus feet. Had it not been for Srila Prabhupada, as Prahlad Maharaj says, we would have been in the well of material desires. Having said that, I will pause here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari 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 Bol.